Shawty really bad. Words of a faint, something like a bad. Well, I want your love, call me when you can. Girl, going up, going up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over the Sinister Cup that I did on the 6th, but we're going to be doing something a little different today. We're just going to be going over the matches that I lost to try to figure out what went wrong in those matches and how I could improve it in future cups, because I think the best way to learn is to look at your losses and see what you did wrong. So this is our second match, and we're going up against Lieutenant Lazy. He actually said this was his first tournament, and he actually ended up winning the tournament in a clean sweep, so congrats to him. He did a really good job. And here we're Steelix versus Alolan Marowak. Now this is in favor of the Alolan Marowak because he's got Fire Spin as the attack move. You can see with the fire animation he's doing in the background. He does bait our first shield, and we decide to go straight for an Earthquake, and he shields that. And I believe we're going to take this Bone Club, and then I believe he swaps out here into Dusclops, and we swap into Medicham. Now this is a big mistake. I think I wasn't thinking very well. At least that's what I thought of right when the match ended. I was like, why did I swap into the fighter? It is good against fighting. I thought about it a little later. What I should have done is definitely stayed in with Steelix, use the crunch. He either is going to shield or take half his HP and damage. And what I can do after that is let him go down, and then maybe come in with the Medicham or the Empoleon. Probably the Empoleon, considering that the Dusclops would be at half life or a shield down, and we'd have our shield still to hold for Empoleon. So those lines could have gotten me the win here. Instead, I end up throwing Medicham in, and I think we don't really do much with him in there. Dusclops is so tanky, he's not taking any damage from this Medicham. We go for the Power-Up Punch first, and then we just try to get an Ice Punch in there against him, because it's going to be doing a lot of neutral damage, or, well, the most that he could do. So we end up coming back in with the Steelix, so this would have been what we started with, and we come in with the Crunch. And he shields it, which is possibly what would have happened the other time. And as you see there, if we had stayed in that matchup, we probably would have had enough energy for a second crunch. So even if he had shielded, we'd still bring him to half. And if he didn't shield at all, we would have been able to take him out. And he ends up having Steelix in the back, which Empoleon would have been good against Steelix and Alolan Marowak. With the shield against Steelix, you can take him out. And then Alolan Marowak had already thrown out all of his energy in that first matchup. Before he swapped, and he's at half life here, and we would have been able to probably win with that Empoleon. It would have been close, but we still would have had Medicham in the back. Now Medicham's not going to be doing much damage to Alolan Marowak, but you probably only need to get off one charge attack, probably the Ice Beam, to win that matchup at that point. And then Empoleon's not going to be able to go through the entire team, especially against Dusclops. He's really good against Dusclops. So here we decide to start Empoleon. We bring in Drifblim to try to deal with his Dusclops if he decides to keep him in. He ends up swapping to Poliwrath. We swap into Drifblim here, and it's a bubble version, and I believe it has Ice Punch, so we're able to take one Ice Punch. It does about 50% damage, and we're just going for these ominous wins, hoping that he either shields or if we get the boost. Otherwise, we're just doing as fast damage as we can. Now, right here, I believe that I end up not shielding and get taken out, which is an okay move, considering we didn't lose any shields off of it, but the problem is we didn't get any shields off of it, and it's going to be a little harder for us to take out this Poliwrath. Now, we do have Medicham in the back, and this is the reason I let my Drifblim go, is because we have Medicham, and we could bring in Medicham after Drifblim gets fainted. Now, the only problem with that is we're asking our Medicham to do a lot of work against Poliwrath here, and then he's probably going to bring in his Alolan Marowak, which is going to be bad for us. But if he has Steelix in the back, Empoleon's going to be good against Steelix and Marowak as well. But I think that he actually ends up having Dusclops in the back, which we fall into the exact same matchup as round 1, where Dusclops is really good against our team. Now, what I should have done here is stayed in with Medicham, just let him go out, use as much energy as I can against this Dusclops, because I know that I need Empoleon in the Alolan Marowak matchup that's still in the back. And Alolan Marowak, I believe, is at like 85-90% HP because he swapped pretty fast from our lead. So this is a bad swap because even with 2 shields, the waterfalls aren't going to be doing as much damage as his neutral damage plus the amount of the speed at which he gets to his charge moves. So I believe what we should have done there is stayed in with Medicham. Yeah, you're going to get taken out, but you're going to be able to do something against Dusclops. It's not like you do 0 damage. You just don't do that much. And now we have Medicham in the back versus what could be his, or what will be his Alolan Marowak if we take out this Dusclops, which Medicham cannot win that matchup straight up. I don't think we have that much energy. And he has a shield up on us, and he resists fighting damage. So he's going to take round 2 here. As soon as he gets to Shadow Ball, he'll be able to take us out. And he's got all the time in the world to get there because he's, like I said, he's got the shield and he's resisting our basic attacks of counter. So really good team comp by him. I think the only way we win that one is, like I said, if we had that Medicham in there, but I don't even know if we win that. I think his team comp of 3 there was better than ours. In this one, we just decided to go with double steel. I actually really like this matchup, but here's the risk in going double steel. If they end up starting with Poliwrath, my only Poliwrath answer is Medicham. So that means I cannot switch into Medicham against the Poliwrath because he will have switch advantage and can switch out, and probably will, considering that Medicham beats Poliwrath. So the only thing I can do now is stay in this matchup with Steelix and just see what I can do, feint out, and then come in with Medicham, hoping for a swap, then bringing in Empoleon. Now the problem with all of this is that he's had Dusclops in each of the games previous, as well as Alolan Marowak. So we have to assume that he's got one or both of those Pokemon in the back, and Empoleon's only good against the Alolan Marowak. So he ends up pulling both of our shields here because I've yet to see the second move on this Poliwrath, and I thought it was going to be a dynamic punch. So I end up getting baited there. Another reason why I'm not doing well in this matchup. But then he has the Dusclops again. So on first look, I didn't realize our team really had a huge Dusclops hole. But I do think that it actually does. I think this Dusclops has Hex, so it's not doing the super effective feint damage, or the super hard hitting feint damage, I should say, but it is getting to its charge moves really quickly. Yeah, it has Hex. I can see the purple flames next to you is a Hex. So really good by our opponent to see, to understand which Pokemon are going to beat our team of 6. And then I think really bad team comp building by us in this, with this team of 6. I think that if I were to do it over again, I probably would bring in Mawile, I think, for the dark damage against the ghost types. I think we're really lacking that on our team. So here we are against Road Warrior in our last round. This is round 4. We always go up against Road Warrior, it seems, in these videos. So really good player. I think he was the highest ranked at this local group at the end of Season 1. And we have Medicham in here against Alolan Marowak because we lost the lead. And yeah, you know how that goes. We're not going to do well in that matchup. He is up a shield right now, so it's not looking great for us. We do have an interesting comp with Cresselia in the back here, who's going to be doing bad against Marowak and Bastodon. So we really have to align ourselves well for this last matchup. And I end up bringing back my Alolan Marowak just in time in this match to do a Bone Club, which is going to be super effective. And I don't shield here. I take that Shadow Ball. But now I know I can come in with either Cresselia or Medicham. I decide to come in with Cresselia because we don't know what he has in the back. So I assume that he has a Poliwrath in the back. So we kind of force this Bastodon to come in, And we know Medicham for us is going to be good against Bastodon and Poliwrath. So all we're trying to do here is... Oh, but we almost have no HP on this Medicham. But he actually has Medicham in the back. So really good for our Cresselia. Our Medicham is going to go out here. But all it means is that Cresselia has time to come in here. And I try to bait the shield. And we do. Take the shield out of him. And now we're just on a road to try to get to this future site. I do think, I don't know, it's interesting to go Future Sight or Moonblast, I think it is, or Moonbeam. I don't know, let me know. Because Moonblast, I'm going to call it Moonblast. Moonblast is doing super effective damage against the fighters, as well as against, I should say, super effective against Medicham, because Medicham does have that psychic typing and it is going to be resisting the Future Sight, but Future Sight is doing so much damage anyways, and it's going to be doing neutral because of the fighting type of Medicham. We actually win that first match there. We come into this match, I think Drifbloom is pretty good against Poliwrath at this point, but he does have, I believe he does have Ice Beam Poliwrath, so that's going to be good against us. We go for the Ominous Wind. We hope that he shields. He does shield. So at this point, we're up a shield, and we come in with Cresselia. I just wanted to see if I could get 2 Confusions in against the Poliwrath. We actually only end up getting 1. We go for the big Future Sight here. I think I had time to go for a bait there. Now this shield is really bad by me because we actually lived through a Shadow Ball, so there's no reason to shield at this point, because even if he Shadow Balls, we're going to have like 25% HP left, and he actually ends up being a bait anyways. So now this is probably going to be the Shadow Ball. We can't really afford 2 shields on Cresselia. I actually think we win. I think that's the turning point in this match. I think we win this match pretty easily. If we end up shielding or not shielding there, because you're already in, the thing is you're already in a bad matchup against a Alolan Marowak. You really shouldn't be shielding in a matchup where you're not very effective against the other Pokemon, unless, I mean, obviously there are certain circumstances where this is not necessarily true, but I feel like in this situation it was unnecessary. He has that Poliwrath still in the back, and I think you're going to take it out in the counters after this Power-Up Punch. Probably 3 counters. No, he actually ends up getting to the Ice Beam. And takes out... Oh no, we take him out. And I think in the back he actually ended up having the Bastodon. So if we don't shield there, and Cresselia goes out, we would end up bringing Drifblim in. He had enough energy for an Ominous Wind and a little bit more. Would hit the Marowak with the Ominous Wind or take the last shield. Get the Hex damage in. Maybe get to another Ominous Wind. Even if you don't, though, you can always... Oh, well, you're going to have the Medicham come in and probably just shield that first attack from Marowak and probably end up taking him out with an Ice Beam. Putting yourself, I would say, around half-life against the Bastodon, and then you would win that matchup. Especially since you had powered up twice already in the match. So we get the bad lead here with Medicham. We bring in Alolan Marowak because he's going to have the most neutral matchups against this person's team. At least I think so. Although I look now and he has ground and 2 water types, so maybe this was a mistake too. But I think it's fine. I do think that at the end of this match I decided that I really probably needed to bring Cresselia to each matchup. To deal with Poliwrath. I think it's dealing with Poliwrath more than Medicham, and I think that I would have brought Medicham as well because we keep seeing the Bastodon. But on the flip side of that, or the reasoning for that, is because Medicham, I'm asking Medicham to do too much work in these matchups. I'm asking him to take out Poliwrath, which is a winning matchup, but very close. As in, I'm going to lose too much HP to even go up against the Bastodon. Sure, if we get pitted against Bastodon in a switch where we switch in Medicham against Bastodon, it's going to be a lot better, but, you know. So we end up shielding here against the Alolan Marowak, and I think it's because I'm trying to get to an Earthquake. I do not get to an Earthquake. And so I go for the Crunch here, which almost takes him out, but doesn't quite get him out. It probably is fine, just considering I only have Medicham in the back anyways. which probably isn't going to do good against Marowak. And actually, he told me after this he hit Claydol in the back, so I really kind of never had a chance in that third game. But I think that our main problems here was, I think our team of 6 was a little bit lacking. I think that adding Mawile to the team would really do a number on the ghosts. It really seems like Dusclops was a big it's a big challenge for us to get across. And I think that a couple of times our team of 3 was a little bit suspect. Going the double steal strategy works almost every time unless they start a Poliwrath, but I don't know. Do you guys think that that's a risk that you're willing to take? Obviously, I was willing to take that risk. I think that any other matchup, you're going to be fine because they're going to swap in with the thing that can beat the steal. Then you swap in with the thing that beats that, which was, for me, my Medicham beats Poliwrath. And then if we beat that Poliwrath, nothing's going to stop the double steal types in the back. So, yeah, I played a little risky, but I think that's kind of how I play. I could have made better team of 6, which may have led into better teams of 3, but that's saying all this after the tournament. These are things I'm going to have to reflect on and really think about what my team comp is going to be for the future Sinister Cups, because I think my team comp is going to change. I did like double steal. Before this, I was testing out a lot of Steelix and Bastodon. I really like that as well, so maybe we'll go back to trying that out a little bit. It really sucks that remote battles are not working right now because I'm not able to get a ton of practice in with the all the team comps going through my head, but hopefully we get that back soon. And I just wanted to say thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to, go ahead and subscribe. If you think I made other mistakes in those matches that I didn't cover, go ahead and let me know, because I'm always wanting to know what I missed. And if I missed something, I can learn from that. So thanks for watching.